Hey guys, it's Niko, and this is week 7 on FTMBrotherhood. But before I get into week 7, I want to catch up on week 2, which is coming out. The first people I sort of came out to were my close friends, because they sort of knew that I was struggling with and exploring my gender before anyone else did, because I felt most comfortable talking to them about it. And everyone was really supportive of that. But it took me quite a while to work up the courage to come out to a lot of my other friends and everyone else around me. It was difficult for me, even though everyone that I had come out to in the beginning was very accepting, because I just wasn't quite sure how everyone would take it, because you never really know. So it was a big concern of mine, and I kept sort of putting it off, and it was like, I'm not going to come out until I start T. I don't know. It kind of scared me to think that maybe some people would, not accept me. But luckily, once I started hormones in late March, I sent out, a Facebook message to a lot of my friends, and I was like, here's the deal. I'm transitioning, and I started hormones. I'm switching my name, my pronouns, this and that. And everyone was really cool with it. Some people had, questions to ask me, and I had some really good conversations with people, about my journey and what all this meant. So on that front, I've had a lot of positive support, which is a good sort of contrast to the support I've had at home with my family. I live with my parents and my younger brother, and I came out to my parents a couple weeks before my first appointment with the clinic here in New York to start testosterone, and they didn't really take it all that well. I came out to my mom first. She basically flipped out on me and told me that this was wrong and I didn't know what I was doing, and all sorts of things, having to do with my personal life. She didn't take it very well at all. I basically left the house at that point because I was like, I can't take this. And then after I left, she called my dad up on the phone, who wasn't home at the time, who then called me, and he took it a little bit better. He called me up and he told me that my mom had talked to him, and he was like, is this true? Do you feel like a man? And basically what he told me was that he didn't really agree, he didn't understand, but he knows that there's nothing he can do to change my mind, and it's my life, and I'm always going to be his daughter, which I guess at that point was more than I could have hoped for to hear from either of my parents. And at this point, they kind of act like I never told them. In a way, they don't address it and it doesn't come up. So it's kind of like I didn't come out at all. It's weird. My brother took it fine. He was like, I hear you, I don't quite understand, but I support you anyway. I'm not technically employed at the moment, so there's nothing to really say about being out in the workplace. I touched on that a little bit last week. I went in for the interview, and I chickened out and kind of used my given name instead of my chosen name. If I get hired, I guess we'll have to address that again. So yeah, part of my coming out process has been good. Part of it hasn't been good. Hopefully, in time, they will learn to accept me for who I am, because my family's a big part of my life, and they're important to me, and I would like for them to be a part of this transition with me. But anyway, enough of that. Now on to week 7, identity and orientation. I identify as a queer male. I consider myself to be male, but not necessarily masculine in the traditional sense. I don't consider myself to be macho or burly, muscly, superhero man. I like to sort of femme it up sometimes. I'm more comfortable now than I've ever been with people painting my nails or doing my makeup. That's fine with me. Whereas it wasn't fine with me before when I was presenting as female, because I felt like it's sort of solidified an identity that I didn't really want to portray. But now, I'm okay with all that. Identify as queer. I used to be like 90% attracted to females and like 10% attracted to males, but it's sort of evened out a little bit since I started testosterone. Oddly enough, I find myself more attracted to male-identified and or male-bodied people, even though I do have a girlfriend who I love very much. I just find it really interesting that since starting hormones, I've seen this sort of shift in my sexual orientation, which I've heard stories of from other guys who have been on T for a while. I mean, I wasn't expecting or not expecting it, I just knew it was out there, and I have no problem with being attracted to anyone in particular. You know, I'm not looking for one specific thing that's in your pants. If I'm attracted to someone, I need to be attracted to someone, you know, physically, mentally, emotionally, everything, you know. For me, that's important. My gender identity and my sexual orientation are definitely not stereotypical, and they're not set in stone. I'm breaking the molds, and if other people have a problem with it, they can shove it, quite honestly. I'm living my life in a way that makes me happy, makes me feel good, and I'm going to surround myself with people who don't mind that and people who embrace that. One other thing, for those of you in the New York City area, happy Pride this week. I will be at the Manhattan Pride Parade this Sunday because it's my birthday. I'm turning 23 and I'm celebrating with all the queers. So if any of you watching this are in the area, if any of you are going to Pride, if any of you want to meet up and say hi, send me a message on my personal channel and we'll do it up. We'll make it happen. Otherwise, I hope everyone's going to have a great week, and I will see y'all next week. Peace.